Ladies and gentlemen, Violent Games here. Today I'm going to be talking about a demo you should freaking download immediately. Literally, it's at no expense to you to go download this demo. This is the whole point of this video, is literally just for me to give this game free advertisement, which isn't something I would normally do for a video game, especially one that is a high-profile title. But the problem with this game in particular is that notoriously in the past, these game devs, Platinum Games, have made games that are just so phenomenal that seem to get ignored by Western audiences, and I hope to hopefully kind of give you some perspective to kind of like give you the motivation to download this demo so that you can try the game out for yourself and decide whether or not it's good for you. I'm going to be telling you why I think the game is so damn good, and that it's probably going to be an immediate purchase I make upon the release of this game. And I'm going to give you some insight into the game itself, you know, premise-wise, you know, what kind of audience I think this game is going to be for, and kind of explain exactly what this game is in the first place, or at least what I think it is based on the demo. So, why is this demo good, and why should you download it? Well, first up, we have the frame rate. On console games, especially if you're a console gamer, that's usually the perspective I like to speak from, and that's primarily who my audience is, are console gamers. You don't get a lot of games that run well, and I think this problem has plagued the console industry and is still continuing to plague the console industry because the innovations that are being made for console gaming seem to be graphic heavy centric, even though we still haven't maintained 60 frames per second even in 2017, and I think that's a huge freaking shame. This game is an example of a game that runs buttery smooth at 60 frames, just like Overwatch. So keep that in mind when you go to play this game. You're going to get a very high-performing game, which is a novelty in 2017, 2016, 2015. There are not enough 60 frames per second console games, and I feel like we as consumers deserve that. Point number 2. The premise, characters, style, and just overall feel of this game is awesome. You have kind of a departure from Platinum Games' previous characters, like from Bayonetta, where they're kind of zany and wacky and over-the-top and colorful, to kind of like a less colorful, more emotionally toned-down characters, but you're still super invested in such a short period of time. You don't have the greatest voice acting really either in the demo per se, but the premise itself makes you feel like you're playing an anime from Japan that's been dubbed over, that has a very strange yet interesting premise, you know, killing machines as an automaton in sort of almost a post-human world, it may seem. I don't know, you're gonna have to speculate on the story yourself when you play the demo. Again, download the demo. It's at no cost to you. It's free on PlayStation. I'm sure it's free on Xbox. There's no reason for you to not play this demo, god damn it. But anyways, the overall theme of the game is just really, really cool and interesting. The style of the characters and the artwork is just really cool, and it's really Japanese. And if you want to unleash your inner weeaboo, you know, if you haven't unleashed your weeb in quite some time, this is a great way to do it. It's really, really fun. Okay, point number 3, and this is probably the most important point. We have amazing combat in this game. The combat feels awesome. You get to learn it. You can go from anywhere from just button mashing to get combos to comboing certain buttons together. You can do counters with certain weapons. Like, for example, in the demo, you can press R2 at a time moment and then follow up with a gunshot if you're skilled enough and do massive damage. The combat is so amazing in this game that I've played this demo 3 times now. Well, 4 if you consider the first run where I died, but anyways, I think the combat is a huge, huge, huge selling point of this game. It's absolutely fun, and Platinum Games, again, shows that they are the master at making this type of combat. And again, 60 frames per second in a high action setting is really, really good. It feels really, really fluid. And mixing it with ranged combat, special abilities, takedowns, like I said, counter dodges, and the ability to switch the stances of your weapons. So each weapon that might come out in the full retail release are going to have multiple forms to them, doubling the amount of combos available in the game. Just like, I think it's similar to Bayonetta, but not exactly the same. But really, really exciting, like, idea right here. So great combat. Point number 4, dynamic gameplay. The game does not exist exclusively as a third-person action game. You're going to go from a third-person action game to a side-scroller, and at one point in the demo, you take on a Star Fox style of shooting when you turn basically into a jet, and like, it's just fucking awesome. I feel like you need to experience this demo for itself and give it at least a couple run-throughs to really get good at that great gameplay. And to really learn how the game wants you to play during each different setting. And I forgot to mention one style of gameplay. There's also an overhead top-down style of play as well. So the camera really mixes up the style of play, even though the controls are fairly similar during each segment. Except for the Star Fox one, that one's kind of, you know, it's a little bit on a different plane. And 5, the accessibility. This game is accessible not only easily as a demo, that's not what I'm trying to say here, but it also has multiple and varying difficulty settings that go from extreme difficulty, like you get hit once and you die, which I don't like, I think that's nonsensical, to a balanced difficult setting, like hard. That's what I played on. I thought that for me, the gameplay on hard was the most challenging. It encouraged me to learn all of the dynamic gameplay elements in the game, and basically be able to do it effectively in order to, you know, succeed without just button mashing. Or you could choose an easy difficulty and just button mash your way through the game and have fun with a power fantasy, Japanese-oriented game from Platinum. So, I mean, this game's accessible to everyone. Anyone of any gamer skill can play it. The difficulty settings are great. The game feels amazing. It's buttery smooth. There is no reason you shouldn't download this game. Again, I feel like the hack and slash genre is very ignored, and I feel like Platinum games specifically are being ignored by Western audiences. That's why I wanted to throw this video out there. And let me just give you a little bit of backstory before I head out of here. Bayonetta was released in the States and actually undersold, even though in my opinion Bayonetta was one of the best hack and slash, actually in my opinion it is the best hack and slash game of all time, and it just made me angry with all these games that are releasing with the same shit in them over and over and over again and continuing to sell as much as they do. I feel like it's hurting the market when people are buying these shitty repetitive sequels over and over and over again, and no one's really innovating on anything. But when a new IP comes out that's really damn good, it's not encouraged to continue making titles because no one buys the game. So it's really, I felt like I needed to personally go out of my way to make my viewers, whoever wants to watch this, aware that this game is even a thing. I feel like it was my duty to, because I want more copies of this game to sell. I want the devs at Platinum Games to be encouraged to make games like this in the future. The fact that we even got this game, guys, we should be eternally grateful, because the last couple games did not sell as many copies as they deserved to. And the copies that did sell sold later down the line by third parties, so the developers never really got any money for this game. Or for Bayonetta specifically. So, again, guys, please go out of your way, download this demo. If you're a fan of an action-adventure genre, if you're a fan of Japanese-centric games, you know, unleashing your inner weeaboo, if you're a fan of, you know, sci-fi-esque things, this game's for you. And especially if you're a fan of hack and slash. You can't do better than Platinum Games hack and slash. And just the variety and the breath of fresh air that this game provides compared to other titles is just, it's delicious. In my opinion, it fires off on all cylinders for me, and I am very excited, and like I said, I'm hyped enough to where I'm probably okay with buying this game on release. Anyways, guys, this is Violent Games, signing off.